They're over there just comfortable as all get out. And I'm over here scrubbing floors. That, that mother. You know, a person who has always been there to scratch their back. I'll pay all your bills if you sit next to me and scratch my back all the time or something, whatever this is. I'll make sure you have rent. I'll make sure you have this and that. As long as you follow tradition, as long as you're always at every family event, you know. Show me some more cards for Leo, please. Oh, well, never mind. I'm catching, this is sort of like an ex that comes back that's been gone for like 20 years or something. And coming back into this person's presence, or they're showing up in some way. And this is like, it's awkward. Look, the Six of Pentacles in the reverse with the Six of Cups in the reverse. Shared responsibilities that haven't been done. Overreaching one's, you know, it's like using possibility and overreaching with possibility when you ain't got one. Because it's not real. It's not factual. It's not truth. And there's like a Scorpio or something, and they can't live like that. The Scorpio gives me the impression of, you know, I only have like 3 more years to live, or I only have like 2 more years to live, something like that. I ain't got time for possibilities. I'm taking what I can get, and I'm going to be grateful for it. But there's a disagreement on that point. There's been a competition between relationships, parties that have been blindfolded. They're getting that taken off, but it's like a public setting where the blindfold gets taken off. There's embarrassment. There's a shadow eclipse of some kind. And it reveals that life really ain't as good as what it seemed from the outside looking in. Jolly, merry smiles. But there's like a Scorpio energy where this person's like, I can't do that. I cannot release that. But you do what you have to do. The person wants to say, I'm here to help, but they're not gonna. It's sort of like, if this is something that you want to do, then this is something that you will care for, pay for, take care of, monitor, you know, find the assistance you need, but I'm not stepping in anymore. That's what this is. I'm not stepping in anymore. It kind of gives me like a group, right? And the Scorpio is a part of this group. And people are pointing to like one person who's standing in the middle. And there's someone who's just like, you have driven us apart. You have driven us apart. Laying like, it's whatever or whoever was the sacrifice, and kind of laying it at this person's feet and saying, this action here didn't have to go like this. You know, this action here, whether it's a memory, but no, it's like all of these people responded or reacted to what drama was happening with like one person's inner mental shadow. Yeah. And a lot of people who went along with the story out of loyalty or kindness, the exposure of this, they're showing me a Shakespearean play where somebody does awful and they're throwing vegetables at the person and they're booing and shooing this person out, driving them from the town in some sort of way. Money that was spent, lives that were shifted. And then this is who you normally would turn to. A person that you would normally turn to. Hold on, these are important cards. I gotta put those over there. Yeah, because this is like a person you would normally turn to for wisdom, guidance, or assistance inside of the group and being shunned in some way. It's like a pastor who builds an entire sermon on what this person has done. Do you see? It's like a spotlight that kind of comes down. Pluto is opposite your sign, boom. So it can bring in disasters like this. The dishonesty, and then the mask, and then the performance. Because I feel like the person I'm picking up on, they knew a lot that was going on, and they just sat silently by and they just watched, like being in your rocking chair. And you know things, but you don't say things. And you see that person dropping 600,000, and you see this other person doing blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, and you're not saying anything. The way that, like the person that, it's like the phoenix, right? And they release the phoenix. It alerts everybody that the phoenix has been released. It's like holding the truth and not sharing the truth, because it does have to do with sharing. So there's a lot of loss of respect here, maybe even for both a mother and a father. It gives that silent generation with Pluto and Cancer, the silent generation that doesn't talk about their emotions. So it's a repeated storyline that may have come from grandparents, great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, and it's replaying right in front of your eyes, Those of you that picked up on that pattern years ago, this time you weren't a part of it. So you might have had just a regular day, right? But what you didn't see was the rest of the family. What you didn't see was the rest of your kin and what was happening out there. Because I see like a person really getting addressed. I mean, addressing down sort of thing. You don't hold on to information. Because it's sort of giving me like a lawyer in a firm. It's like that. People making life or death choices based off of and the person holding the information instead of sharing it, so that the whole firm could move forward with a very important case. It's like hanging on to that. This shaking of the head, people might be let go for this, the reputation shot because of this. And if there were any like standbys that knew the gravity of this and did not alert someone or talk with someone, you know what I mean? I do catch that feeling that it's like, this person over here is getting 100% heat. but you also deserve 80% heat. And I may not be the one giving it to you, but I'll ensure that everybody in here knows your name, that they don't want to work with you anymore. So it kind of works like that. Shame. Shame. Yeah, I'm feeling that. If you guys are processing your ancestral line and there's shame, and you carry shame, if somebody started this and projected shame onto another person, they wanted that other person to feel shamed. That sort of business, all that's coming out. Attacks are not okay. Period. No. Okay, I'm going to stop and look at the cards because I've been channeling, and I don't know what the heck that was, but it sure did sound like a certain person who's currently incarcerated in the state of Texas. First name starts with G. For real, though. Like, I started picking up the stream, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm on the Epstein phone. Okay. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I don't know if I have like a bunch too many cards down or something. But I have someone using way too much, like this is using power or control in a very negative way. This is abuse. This is violent. This is not good. And I see someone over here making excuses that it's okay. It's okay. It's all going to be okay. But the truth is they're not hearing any responses on activity that would help dig them out of this hole. Because that's here as well. I have another person here who is hoping, they're hoping to retrieve what was lost, and they're getting ready in a position to be more active in trying to find what was lost, because what was lost is a relationship here, is a relationship. And they're asking after it, you know, they're asking after it. They don't like the cruelty. This person I'm looking at, they don't like the cruelty that was shown. They don't like the lackadaisical attitude. They don't like the fact that someone else, it's sort of like they feel controlled by a system on the left, right? So they did what they did. They could have broken the law in like a million different ways. This is forgery. This is all sorts of craziness here. But it was abuse. And then they turn around and just act like everything's okay. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. However, this is like, it's like forgery, and someone finds it and then they hold on to it. They have the evidence and then they just hang tough and they hold on to it. The abuse of this system here, it could also very well be someone, because I'm seeing that, where someone knew, consciously knew, you know, it gives the impression of, yeah, just go sneak into dad's safe and just sneak into dad's safe, grab 1,000. And there's so much money in the safe, they won't know. They won't know, you know, it'll be forever. They'll think it was part of an investment or something like that. And the person goes out and spends the money and they only spend 60%, you know, or someone saying this was only a one-time gig. It was only a one-time thing. It's just a one-time thing. We won't do it again. Blah, 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 blah. We'll take the money and we'll put it to good use. And you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Someone coming in and saying, well, I only spent like 60%. I still have a little bit left over, just a little bit left over. They're looking at trying to take something and financially come in to fix it. I do kind of catch that someone might be returning, say, a ring. Like if there was an engagement or something, if there was a gift or something that was given. This person is coming back in and kind of handing it to the person and having this really tough conversation and saying, you know, I know you well enough to know you, and you did this out of spite. And I watched you do it out of spite. And I watched you do it out of your emotions. You did not have your emotions under control. And people got hurt. People got harmed, you know. And I'm coming in to hand you this thing back because I don't want it. I don't want it. You know, I lost an important relationship here. And I don't want anything you got to give. You want to try to pay for all this and all this. I don't want one more thing from you. You take it back because I don't want it. And this person that's trying to fix everything, they may be looking at trying to offload their stocks, their bonds, their IRAs or whatever to come in and try to apologize, like to apologize with. And this other person, they're like, I see what you did. It's obvious to me. You didn't do this because it wasn't available to do. You did this out of hurt feelings, being angry. So the person got caught. That much is very true. The person got caught. A serious lack of emotional maturity here, of emotional maturity. At the first sign of danger or harm, someone should have done something here. And they didn't. They didn't. The challenge is that someone was silent. Someone just sat there silent. That's why I'm saying they were like sitting in a rocking chair, doing what they do. They knew that it was wrong. And so stepping forward on the right foot, the person has to make this very painful confession or this very painful communication that says this thing has been going on for too long. And then I have these cards. I have the Death card, the Page of Wands in the reverse, and the Lovers in the upright. And I feel as though the Death card is in movement right now. It feels like an iceberg that is, it's too big, you know. This thing's on the move. I don't know how we're going to stop it. I don't know how we're going to get in front of it. This person is like wanting to use their savings or something. Maybe, you know, they want to use their savings or they want to sell something, but it's a negotiation tactic. That's what I see here. It's a negotiation tactic. I want to see what these cards are, but it's already in motion. This thing is in motion. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, because this thing is currently in motion. Oh, there you are. I see here that the person is trying to stay silent. They're quiet. They don't want to interact with a whole lot of people. They don't want to tell the entire story of what has kind of gone on, you know? Show me this real quick. I hear a person sitting here saying, I don't need that. Look at that. Another Scorpio card coming out. The Death card. Yeah, gaining information or wanting to communicate with another person that they haven't talked to, they didn't choose, and there's silence there. But this Hierophant in the reverse talks about someone who, they're not following the rules, but they're also not listening to mentorship. They could also be questioning their belief system in some way about the Justice in the reverse and how bad this thing really is with the Knight of Wands in the reverse. I have the Pisces card, someone who is watching, the King of Wands in the upright, the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, the Page of Pentacles in the upright again, and that came out twice. And then the Four of Wands in the reverse. So someone who, like one person is being loyal and faithful to what has been built, and they're doing something about this. They're choosing the King of Swords in the upright to actually do the ethically correct thing, which is quite possibly to cut the other person off completely. This has more to do with where you invest your pentacles. Pentacles can also represent time. So it could very well be choosing, I'm not going to surround myself with the foundations of what this other person built. You know, I want to be surrounded by people who don't do this nonsense, you know, who don't make choices that are ugly and from an emotionally ugly space. And I do kind of catch that King of Swords. It's sort of like, it would be like this. If you made a choice way back there somewhere, and I have this or that, and you took choice A, and it turned into this freaking hot mess, you have to go all the way back to that juncture to make the right choice. And with the King of Wands and the King of Swords, this is someone who's actually standing up to the beast. They're standing up to this. They're holding on to a proper opportunity. That's what they're doing. Because they, you know, they're angry too. This person's mad. They've already made their choice on how to handle it. And what this original person did, this other one's going in to fix. That's what they're doing. Because they don't want any of this to keep going. Like, it's almost like the longer it goes, the worse it gets. Someone sees what the other person did not do responsibly. So they formulate a plan. They know they may have to travel and take a trip that they don't want to take, right? They'll do what it takes, though. They'll do what it takes. There's another king to come in here and try to find that Two of Cups person. They're going to try to find this person, or they're going to try to fix what happened with this person. This can't go on. You know, this isn't a story that you're proud to tell. That's what this looks like to me. It's not a story that you're proud to tell, and it's not a story that you can emotionally just brush off. I don't care who this other this other person's cold. They're stone cold. Stone cold. Which kind of makes it feel gross. It just makes it feel worse. This would be like stealing from your kid, you know? You don't do that. It's just gross. Show me what else for Leo, please. I have single in the reverse. I have travel. Spiritual awakening in the reverse. Magnetic attraction in the reverse. Someone that's been sitting in between the lines. They didn't see the signs. Yeah, unexpected. A gathering that was unexpected. If someone got trapped, I could see that as well. Someone who got trapped in a bad spot and they weren't aware, situationally aware, you know. I don't want to talk about that. But I do see it. Someone who quite possibly didn't do the right thing in the past, and now they're stepping up and they're like, I want to do the right thing now because this is wrong. It's wrong. What happened here is wrong. Show me what else is going on for Leo. Unsocial in the reverse. That's what I'm saying. There was a lot more people involved. There they are. A lot of people. And this is releasing, staying stuck in the upright. It's weird. The other one was like that too, not settling. Someone not settling for the way that it is. Anxiety is in the reverse. So if somebody was trying to do something to remove the anxiety in their world and they did something shady, or they just didn't care. These people were cold. They were cold. Show me what else Leo needs to know, please. I kind of have mind control as well. To me, these cards talk about not playing the other person's game anymore. You know, not playing the other person's game. They know, like they want you to come back. They're watching for you to come back. Whoever was standing next to the other person, it's sort of like you gave them courage. You gave them bravery. You gave them strength. They're watching you. It looks like they're in a depression and they're freaking out. But I have this other person who's like, I'm not going to play this stupid love story thing with you anymore. You know, even if if you have to travel with this person, it's sort of like someone saying, I'm just going to get another room. Get another room. Just get a room. Because you don't want to hear this sad sob story. You don't want to hear it. And if you have not gone on this trip yet, it says get a room. This person's like, I don't want to get involved with blah, 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 blah. And get a room. It says, I cannot listen to your voice. It affects my soul. I know that you may not feel for me as I feel for you. I cannot support your actions. It is too much for me to deal with. I cannot support your actions. Period. Yeah, Leo, if you've been staying with another person and you just can't do it anymore, I understand completely. It says, I knew I was losing you, but I didn't do anything to fight for you. I am embarrassed by my actions and feel disgusted with myself. It says, I don't want to be contacted right now. I wish to be left alone. My focus is on my life. I can't be bothered to be worried about you. It says, my mask keeps me safe. I need to fake my feelings. I have lost all control of my life. I keep messing up. And then I was afraid that you would reject me if I shared my feelings with you. It says, this connection bores me to death. I need something more exciting. I am keeping secrets from you, and I hope you don't find out. That's intense, y'all. That's intense. But that is your reading. Heather and I are here if y'all need readings, okay? The calendar is open. So if y'all need us, click the link under the video, okay? We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.